Welcome back, boys and ghouls. I am Chase with AV Pop Culture, and spooky season content continues on the channel. I have my Scooby Natural shirt on, and I am glad that I do, because today we're diving into something especially sinister. We are going to count down the 10 scariest kids movies of all time. So pop that tape in. I got you. Let's go do this. All right, jumping right into the list with one from 1990. This one is The Witches. And we start with The Witches because it's based on Roald Dahl's dark fantasy. The story follows a young boy who discovers witches are real, that they despise children, and they plan to wipe them all out by turning them into mice. The scary part, well, the witches look like ordinary women until they peel off their disguises, revealing bald heads. Hey, feel attacked on that. Claws and horrifying faces. Angelica Houston as the Grand High Witch gave a performance so intense, kids everywhere dove behind couches at the transformation scenes, especially the boy turning into a mouse. These were grotesque and traumatic, the perfect doll way. Too creepy for kids? Definitely. Too good to forget? Absolutely. I have the old VHS right over there on my shelf. It earns its spot here at number 10. Now, number 9 is one that might not scream horror to you at first glance. Maybe it doesn't even scream scary to you at first glance. But I can guarantee you that 1971's Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is pure nightmare fuel. This is one that is just maybe one of the most unnerving kids films ever made. I mean, you have the plot, a kid wins a golden ticket, or kids win golden tickets to a magical candy factory. Sounds sweet until the tour begins and each child begins suffering bizarre, almost Saw torture-like punishments for their flaws, whether it's gluttony or pride, while Willy Wonka himself keeps delivering cryptic, borderline sinister commentary about everything that's going on. Then there's the infamous boat ride sequence. You've got flashing lights, screaming colors, insects crawling across the screen. I mean, how could a kid not be traumatized by that? And then on top of it, you have Gene Wilder, who insisted on doing the performance so unpredictable that it kept kids and everyone else on the edge the entire time. And it really comes off making Wonka feel much more like a trickster demon than a candy man. Willy Wonka, I promise you, it is legitimate nightmare fuel. It comes in at number 9. Now, number 8, we got one of my favorites that I grew up with, and maybe you consider this one scary or not, but if you're a kid, this one is pretty intense. I'm talking 1987's The Monster Squad. You know, it's basically Goonies, but with Dracula, Frankenstein, the Gill Man, Wolf Man. A group of kids team up to save their town from the universal monsters, and that sounds like fun. But what made this scary is these weren't like cartoon, easy, funny versions. Dracula is vicious in this. Maybe not the best performance ever, but he's definitely cold and vicious. And then the Gill Man looks spot on, so he's terrifying. And the Wolf Man has genuinely creepy and brutal moments that are scary. The transformations are top-notch. The makeup's top-notch. You've got the one infamous Wolfman's Got Nards line, which made this a cult favorite. But for young viewers, kids at the time where this was targeted, the violence and the scares were genuine. And the menace of the monsters felt like a real horror movie wrapped up in a kid's adventure. Very much in some ways a forerunner for like Stranger Things. You mix this with Goonies, you kind of get Stranger Things. The Monster Squad rocks, but man, it could rock you a little harder, especially in 1987. You rock it until you drop. Monster Squad comes in at number 8. Now, at number 7 on this list, I just have to say, turn around, look at what you see. I'm not going to do it, but The Neverending Story from 1984. You're like, oh, fantasy, you've got the luck dragon and all that kind of stuff. It's cute. No, No, it is not. This fantasy epic broke a lot of child's hearts, including mine. I saw it at the theater. I went home and recited the whole thing to my grandmother because on the surface, it's a story about a boy named Bastian who reads a magical book and discovers he can influence the fate of Fantasia. And there is a scary part, though. Fantasia is being literally devoured by the Nothing. And the Nothing is an unstoppable force of despair and change. And this concept alone is a huge existential horror. And then you have the famous Swamp of Sadness scene where Artreu's horse Artex slowly drowns because he loses his will to go on. Kids, parents, nobody was prepared for that level of grief and darkness. It's a gorgeous movie to look at, but it is emotionally devastating. It has scary moments, especially with the main bad guy. I'm just saying that. It's terrifying in ways children's films never dared to be, especially at that time. It still scars all of us Gen Xers, especially and early millennials. Neverending Story has to be on this list. It comes in at number 7. Now at number 6, I have to just ask you, how about a bumper sandwich, booger lips? I am talking Ernest Scared Stupid from 1991. And it might be a comedy, and it might sound like a comedy. I started off with it as a joke, but Ernest Scared Stupid gave kids plenty of sleepless nights. Ernest accidentally unleashes a horde of trolls who turn the children into wood. And this was kind of scary because they feed off the kids' energy. And the trolls were grotesque. They're actually repurposed killer clowns from outer space costumes. But they were terrifying, and they got more terrifying as it went. And so you have this slapstick, movie where Ernest is providing the comic relief, but the monsters kind of felt like they wandered in off of a real horror movie and set up shop in a kid's flick with Ernest, because the whole using the other kid's name and talk, it gets pretty dark and twisted. It kind of gave me some moments. And I was already about a teenager, and it was still kind of it's a little unsettling and creepy, but it's still fun. It's still one I have to watch every year. Ernest Scared Stupid comes in at number 6. Now, number 5 on this list is a favorite of mine, but man, is it dark and twisted and scary, though a lot of people don't remember it that way until they're showing their kids, and it's a little too late to warn them about 1984's Gremlins. You knew this one had to be here. You got Steven Spielberg bringing in Joe Dante to do Gremlins, and it is mistakenly sometimes remembered as a fun Christmas movie. It ain't that. It is a horror film in disguise. The plot follows Billy, who receives a cute creature called Gizmo. We know this. Strict rules, no bright light, no water, no feeding him after midnight, and of course, all of the rules are broken, unleashing the destructive reptilian gremlins. And these gremlins will kill you. They will hurt you. They're not out for fun and games. They gleefully kill, maim, and hurt and terrify in ways that shocked parents in the 80s, for sure. And I guarantee you a lot of kids that grew up with these forgot how intense this was. You got the blender scene, the microwave scene, all kinds of scenes in this movie, and then they show it to their kids and holy crap, it is really scary. And it actually helped establish and lead to the creation of PG-13 rating. Gremlins prove that horror dressed as comedy can scar just as deep. We won't even get into Phoebe Cates and her whole story about her father slipping, and we're not even going to get into that here because it's too dark and too twisted. Gremlins comes in at number 5. Now, coming in, just squeezing into the 80s at 1980 is The Watcher in the Woods. And Disney, this is a Disney movie. Disney's The Watcher in the Woods is one of the eeriest films they ever produced. I got another one here too, maybe. But it follows two sisters who move into a creepy English manor surrounded by a haunted forest. and they start to get strange visions of a blindfolded girl, mysterious disappearances, supernatural warnings that make this feel much more like a gothic horror film than any Disney movie. But the imagery in this was so intense. The original ending, which was too bizarre and too terrifying according to Disney, had to be cut and reshot. The film flopped. It became a cult classic thanks to the moody atmosphere and genuine chills and creepiness. This is one, maybe if you have kids, maybe rewatch it yourself before you show them until they get up a little bit older, because The Watcher in the Woods definitely hits a little bit different. It's scary. It comes in at number 4. Now, number 3 on this list is one of my all-time favorites, but that does not make it any less scary and disturbing, even if it's not right on the surface. I'm going to 1983, and by the pricking of my thumb, something wicked this way comes. Ray Bradbury's story about an evil carnival rolling into town. I just gotta say, I make horror movies. I really want to make a horror movie with a fair or a carnival as a background. I really do. It's just tailor-made to terrify. And Mr. Dark, played beautifully by Jonathan Pryce in this movie, he tempts townsfolk with twisted dreams that come true at a terrible price. He's basically getting them to sell their souls. He's basically a stand-in for the devil. He's literally got a black hat on, screaming bad guy. But for kids, the scariest part might have been how adult fears like aging, regret, lost youth were blended with visuals like tarantulas flooding bedrooms, carnival rides gone wrong. The whole film oozes dread, showing how easily the innocence can be corrupted. And this is a kid's film drenched in gothic horror, unsettling images. You've got a very fall-like movie, leaves blowing all over the place. It's a rare month for boys. You've got lightning coming down, all kinds of 80s blue lightning, baby. It's everywhere. And the carnival, there's something inherently creepy to me. Maybe I just watched Funhouse too early, but there's something inherently creepy to me about a carnival. Even though I enjoy them, there's just that something underneath, and this peels that layer back. This is a great one. This one is desperate need of a 4K upgrade. Just incredible performances and a scary movie. Something Wicked This Way comes in at number 3. Now, number 2 on this list is the newest film on this list. And this is one that I almost think a PG-13 rating is not enough for, but maybe R is too much. This almost needs like a PG-16 rating or something. I'm talking 2018's The House with a Clock in Its Walls. And this one is more recent, so it proves that studios, at least 7 or 8 years ago, were still willing to traumatize kids. Jack Black stars as a warlock teaching his nephew about magic in a creaky old house that hides a sinister secret. It has a doomsday clock buried in its walls. Now, the imagery is surprisingly creepy in here. You have Eli Roth involved in a kids movie. You've got animated mannequins, demonic resurrections, and an atmosphere that feels straight out of an R-rated Goosebumps movie on steroids. Like, it ain't Goosebumps. It ain't. It has humor, yes, but kids walking into theaters expecting an adventure and their parents walking in with them got a heavy dose of gothic horror and atmosphere instead. This one genuinely creeped out my kids when they first saw it. My son was like 8 or 9 when he first saw it, and he'd already saw It, the 1990 version of It, and this scared him worse. That'll tell you something. It's here. It earned its place. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Full of atmosphere that even adults can enjoy for a holiday treat in Halloween time. House with the Clock in Its Walls. Legit scary. It comes in at number 2. But at number 1, we go back to 1985 for the undisputed champion of twisted, creepy, scary kids movies. We're returning to Oz. Man, this is technically a sequel to The Wizard of Oz, but it feels more like a disturbing nightmare-fueled fever dream. Dorothy returns to Oz to find it ruined and desolate. It's like a post-apocalyptic, like, wasteland almost. And along the way, she encounters some scary stuff, including wheelers, which are like freakish creatures that have wheels for limbs, and a witch who collects human heads and swaps them out as easily as changing her jewelry. Like, it's twisted, it shows it, it doesn't shy away from it. I don't know what they were thinking with this movie. To be honest with you, the film is bleak, its visuals are terrifying, they're almost like dream logic. It feels way more like a horror movie than a kid's fantasy. Return to Oz was too intense for kids in 1985, and it remains one of the scariest kids' films ever made. It left an entire generation scarred, and we wouldn't have it any other way. But that also makes it very hard to find these days because it is at 11 on the twisted, scary scale. Return to Oz, number 1 scariest, creepiest kids movie of all time. So there you have it, 10 kids movies that went way too far and delivered full-blown horror scares. These films kind of blurred the line between entertainment and nightmare fuel, and they are still haunting us decades later in some cases. But if you enjoyed this, we have all kinds of spooky season content going on the channel right now. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps out the channel. And if you would like to help support the channel, you can join at my Patreon. The link is below in the description. And you're going to get your name and lights on every single video, behind the scenes looks at my filmmaking, special members only videos, 4K deep dive reviews into movies, physical media, uncensored videos, all kinds of stuff over there, and everything helps out the channel, and I really do appreciate it. But until next time, be kind, rewind like always. This is Chase with AV Pop Culture, and I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.
I know.